for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. And thank you for joining us here at our live Zoom Sunday service of Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco. We're also for the first time broadcasting live on Facebook. So I'll look forward to hearing from the people who are joining us there. And I'm glad that you found us today. We are finding new ways of coming together as a community, and we welcome you here with us this morning. It is wonderful to see your faces here on Zoom, and I want you to know that I do keep all of you in my prayers. And if you're joining us for the first time, I look forward to meeting you in person at whatever point we're able to get together again in person. But that will happen. We know it will happen. We're already seeing some signs of progress. And while it may not be as soon as we like, we are really hearing some wonderful things about what our social, or rather physical distancing has done to flatten the curve. One thing to note before we get started, and that is that all of you are going to be on mute, so you don't have to worry about background noise. There will be one exception to that during the service, and that is when we hold our prayer time, when we ask for prayers, and you're allowed to speak them out loud if you'd like to. Then we'll unmute you so you can raise your hand and let us know that you would like to share a prayer request with us. The way to do that would be to put the hand up in the chat section, or to do it the old-fashioned way and just wave in front of your camera. But other than that, we'll keep you on mute so that you don't have to worry about the background noise. So for now, just relax. You got here, and so did we. And we are looking forward to being with you this morning. So just relax. Or deeply feel your back against your chair, your couch, your bed, wherever you are. And know that the only thing you need to do is to go within your inner sanctuary. You can let go of any worries or concerns of the day. This is your time to connect virtually with all of us in community and with the God of your understanding. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we celebrate the truth that our God is love, as expressed in Unity's foundation statement, which you're invited to repeat with me at home. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life. God the good, omnipotent. So take a deep breath now. Become comfortable. And again, just gently relax any cares of the day. Because the only thing that you need to do in this hour is to open yourself up to the love and goodness of the divine. As we relax into this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. For almost 75 years now, we at Unity Spiritual Center have celebrated and honored people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. Seeing through eyes of oneness and acknowledging our oneness, we know that God indwells all people and is expressed through each of us in unique, special, and individual ways. Unity offers positive, practical, progressive spiritual teachings and tools that honor the universal truth in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. I am going to light a candle as we do every Sunday. And we do this so that as you see the flame of the candle, there we go, you can remember that you yourself have a divine flame, that you are an individualized expression of God, of the divine, that you do God's work through the movements of your hearts and your hands. And our vision here at Unity Spiritual Center, and the opportunity for you and for each one of us here, is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with spirit, and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do. And most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. So let us pause now to listen to a video, not a video, well, I suppose it's a video of sorts, a presentation virtually by our music director, Michael Hatfield.
Okay, everybody. As you can see, we have 6 words to remember there. And the second half, people only need to remember 4. So there's 2 parts to this song, which is this. And those are the people that have to remember all 6 words. And the people that only need to remember 4 sound like this. I am remembering. And you will hear those parts coming and going. Just join right on in. Would gravitate towards the one you have and just let yourself drift away for a second. Here we go.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
And now, as we continue to get comfortable and relax even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by our board president, Kathleen Russell.
Yes. The word for today is release. The affirmation is, I release all that does not contribute to my highest good. John's gospel tells us of Jesus restoring life to his friend Lazarus, who had been dead 4 days. As Jesus cries, Lazarus, come out, his friend emerges from the tomb, burial cloths still covering his face and wrapped around his hands and feet. Jesus says to those who have gathered, unbind him and let him go. Even after a spiritual resurrection, I may remain bound, like Lazarus, by thoughts, ideas, feelings, or habits that keep me from the full experience of freedom. Through my divine power of elimination, I release negative feelings, dissolve error thoughts, and free myself from habits and actions that do not serve my highest good. I am no longer bound. I am free. The scripture for today comes from John chapter 11:44. The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go.
Thank you, Kathleen. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. During this time of shelter in place, you're always welcome to call in, and I will give you that number. It's 415-566-4122. Again, 415-566-4122. You can leave a message on that number with a prayer request. You can also send one through snail mail or email one to uscsf@att.net. So for all the prayer requests of our community, those that are written and those that are unwritten, in a particular one for our USC congregant Brian Lance, who will be undergoing surgery tomorrow. Let us just hold people in our hearts. Let's just surround them with our love and see for each of them answered prayer, that whatever their concern is, let us know for each and every one that they are enfolded in divine love, and that no matter what circumstances may look like, divine order is taking place in all of their lives. There's also a prayer request that's come in for Jesus, who is recovering from a surgery that just came in through the chat. And let's hold Jesus in our hearts and minds as well. Let's see him being infused, that every cell of his body is infused with divine life and divine health. And now this is your time to make your prayers audible, to share your prayer needs to your spiritual family here so that we can support you and stand with you if you have a particular prayer request. We'll sing the first stanza to this song together. Michael will lead us through it, and then we will unmute you if you let us know that you have a prayer request. Again, this could be the easiest way to do it, but you can also go in your chat and raise your hand. and then we will unmute you so you can speak your prayer request aloud. So let's sing this song before we begin.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me. I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too.
Are there any prayer requests that you'd like to share?
I'd like to pray for our city and our Bay Area, that we continue to, bend the curve, and that we can really bounce back sooner rather than later, but doing it in a reflective way, not to endanger others. We're seeing all kinds of things happening in cities that have released the shelter in place and started opening restaurants. And so let us really be very thoughtful about how we go through this. Keep us all safe and rebound in a very successful way.
Marcy?
Your prayer is my prayer too. I see Shirley's waving.
And you're on, Shirley.
Everyone, I'd like to ask for prayer, especially for the African American, Hispanic, and other folks of color who this virus seems to have negatively impacted. I ask for prayer, all of us, remain safe and healed. Thank you.
Your prayer is my prayer too.
We also have a time in our service where we ask people to share anything that they're grateful for, things that they're thankful for, or feel blessed by. This is your time to share those with your spiritual family here too. Yeah, Joni? I see Joni.
Oh,
Okay,
Joni, go
you're
ahead.
unmuted. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to press any buttons.
Oh,
No, it was Jody. I'm sorry. Jody.
Jody.
Oh,
Hi, good morning. I'd like to put a couple of prayer requests out and also share some gratefulness. I'm grateful for Unity and my friends there, and for Kira. And I'd like to pray for my daughter's mental health and emotional health, and my sister in New York ended up having to go to the ER.
Hmm.
I'd like to pray for her that they find out what's going on with her liver, and I hope that it's an easy fix. And really, yeah, I'm grateful for even having a computer
Hmm.
be on here.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Valerie? Hold on.
Is having a good breath, and that everything, I mean, I'm sure everyone has seen all the amazing clear skies all over the world. And I just hope that when we go back into normal life, we remember what it's like to have clean air.
I am so blessed. Marcy, I see something over there.
Ruben wants to go.
Okay. Ruben, you go and then I'll go.
I want to thank Unity, the message that it spreads throughout the world. I want to thank Reverend Maggie and Michael and all the folks at Unity who put together our Zoom broadcasts.
So I'm afraid Marcy's going to be too modest. I want to say thank you to Marcy for organizing a Zoom for my family and creating a beautiful PowerPoint with pictures for my whole family to celebrate my dad's 87th birthday.
Oh,
We got the whole family together.
oh, that's so nice.
Children, it was beautiful. So thank you. I'm blessed.
Awesome.
Got lots of practice.
Right.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and to be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the knowledge that when we ask, it will be given to us. When we seek, we will find. When we knock, the door will be open to us. We give thanks for the feelings of peace and comfort and connection that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community, in our nation, and in our world. And we affirm that always and in all ways, again, no matter what the circumstances may look like, no matter what appearances are, we can know that divine order is unfolding and that each of us is wrapped in divine love. And so it is. Amen.
This is your story. You hold the pen. You make the choices. What's out and what's in. In every chapter, in every line. This is your story, your own design. Once a pen hits the paper, it all becomes real. Like a song sung out loud, it reveals how you feel. It could be something simple or deceptively complex. What matters is the writing, the living of the text. This is your story. You hold the pen. You make the choices, what's out and what's in every chapter, in every line. This is your story, your own design. You control the meter, the length and the prose, the soothing black of the ink, the shining red of the rose. As your pen delights the paper, and you see it all unfold, and the reader is enamored for the tale you've told. Is it real? It can be. You can jump into the page and live the words you pen. Is it real? It can be. Every chapter shapes the world of the life you spend until the end. Oh, this is your story. You hold the pen. You make the choices, what's out and what's in every chapter, in every line. This is your story, your own design.
Thank you, Michael. As always, another perfect selection for what we're talking about today, which is the power of stories. We're talking about the power of stories. Now, originally this was going to be our storytelling Sunday, and thinking about it, we thought it might be logistically a little bit difficult to try to do what we usually do on Storytelling Sunday, which is to sit in a circle and offer 5 minutes or less on a particular theme. But we're going to offer that opportunity after this. So if you join us for our Zoom fellowship meeting at 12 o'clock, you will have an opportunity to tell a story if you came prepared. But before that time, I do want to talk about the power of stories and what they might mean to us today. The poet Muriel Rukeyser wrote, "The universe is made of stories, not of atoms." And that is true of our world, especially the world we're living in right now during this time of global pandemic. Because I want you to think about what it is that has moved you emotionally during this time of sheltering in place. No doubt it has been stories. Stories of bravery, stories of grief, stories of resourcefulness, stories of sacrifice. We as humans learn through stories, and true stories, stories of real life people doing wonderful things, inspire us like nothing else can. And during this time, we've probably seen or heard a number of people, and I am one of them, encouraging you to use this time to revision a new story for your life, to really think about what you want to do and be when this time of physical distancing is over. Now, I say that with a caveat because I realize that we're all going to have our ups and downs during this period. I certainly have. And I know that some days just getting out of bed is going to feel like a big achievement. So as I say when I'm going to say, I want you to hold it gently. It's a time that we can do all of these things, but I'm also aware that sometimes those days will not necessarily be a progressive stream of get up and get to it days. So take what you can and leave the rest, as they say. But when we do feel in touch with our deeper life force, on those days that we feel like communing with our soul and its messages to us, we can use this time to revision our lives and to dream. Because when we re-enter this world after the pandemic has come under control, we will have a clean slate, a white canvas, an empty page, as Michael just sang about, on which to write our new story. For a new story is not dependent on any particular date, like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. It's not dependent on a season or any grand event. A decision to create a new story for our lives can be made at any day, at any time, in any set of circumstances. It can, in fact, be made today. As some of you know, I love this idea of newness so much, this promise that at any time you can create a new story for your life, that I made it my business name. Back in 2000, the year 2000, I started a coaching and consulting business called The New Story, because even more than the metaphor of a new story, I also love the depth of possibilities, the expanse of qualities contained in that metaphor. And it was interesting because this week I actually got a query from somebody who wanted to buy my URL. They wanted to buy The New Story. And I realized that, no, I'm still working with that. And I actually got an idea for a project that I'm going to initiate under The New Story when that time is right. But thinking about this idea of a new story, and when I started doing research around it for my business, I found this great quote that talked about the essence of living one's new story. Here's the quotation. Motivational speaker Tony Robbins asked his seminar participants, "What is the story of your life? A soap opera? A romance? A comedy? An action adventure? What do you want it to be?" Now, however you answer that, the important thing to remember is that ultimately it is your choice. So given that, what is a way that we can begin to define a new story for ourselves? How might we create a framework to hold that vision in place? To help myself do that, I created an acronym out of the words "new story." I love acronyms and I kind of trot them out every now and then. But I've used that acronym as a touchstone through the years, something to come back to remind me of what a new story is and what it can be. And last year I gave a lesson with ideas that used the acronym NEW or new to help you remember them. Today, since we're talking about the power of stories, I'm going to give you a set using the acronym STORY, story. So the S in story is for self-actualizing, because by even attempting to live a new story for our lives, we are in the process of self-actualization. So many people don't try to live out a vision, or they give up if challenges are faced. That we can only become self-actualized if we are operating from our deepest passions, utilizing all of our potentials. There's a wonderful quotation that you've probably seen before. I once had it printed on the wall of my home office here. It was, "We are the hero of our own story." When we create a larger vision for our life, when we attempt to become self-actualized, we are indeed the hero of our own new story. The T in story stands for trusting in God. Once someone said to me, "If you can see the path ahead of you, it's not your path." Pretty interesting phrase to spend some time with. It's a wonderful idea to reflect on, and one worth holding as we create a new story for our lives. Because people usually feel their Januaries when we do it at Unity Spiritual Center with vision boards, with plans, resolutions, goals, systems for getting those goals and that achievement done. And while having our visions at the forefront of our minds is a crucial element for creating them, there is something to be said for grace, for mystery, for planning for the unplanned, for trusting in God. Grace and mystery are meaningful companions as we live our new stories. Often an amazing chapter in our book of life will be the total result of a divine surprise. The time we're living in is certainly a surprise, isn't it? Did any of us think back in January when we were doing our vision boards or writing our goals for 2020 that we would be spending months of our lives sheltered in place? We need to remember, even when those kinds of things happen, that there is a capital I intelligence guiding our days, and that we can trust it with our new stories, and then we can enjoy how the story unfolds. The O in story is for openness, and openness is related to trust in the context of creating our new stories, because as much as we do actively author our lives, I believe we also are authored by God. And I think probably all of us have stories of something unexpected that took place that we couldn't have dreamed up necessarily, but that enriched our lives immensely. And I'll tell you a quick story to illustrate this, and some of you have heard it before, and that is that in 1999, at the turn of the century and the millennium, I had been in a position with a company for 5 years, and I was wanting a change. I was looking for a new challenge that felt aligned with my deepest values. So during that time, back before the internet had really become the vehicle of communication that it is today, I subscribed to a print newsletter that was sent in the mail on making career transitions. And in it, I read an article about someone who was a spiritual director. Now, I had never seen that term before, but I immediately was intrigued. I did an internet search on the term, and I discovered Mercy Center in Burlingame, California, so right down the highway, only a few miles from where I lived. And not only did I discover that there was that institution, but I also discovered that within the week, they were going to be starting a 3-year program. And I immediately called the office and I asked if I could attend the opening class. I told them I didn't know if this was something I was going to want to continue, and I would pay for the day if it wasn't, but that I felt really intrigued and wanted to come that Saturday. Now, I've always sort of felt that the receptionist may have made an exception for me by telling me yes. I know certainly now you couldn't do that, but I was given a yes. And the following Saturday, I found a place in the classroom, and within 10 minutes, I felt an inner eureka. I found something that I had been looking for so many years, and that has enriched my life ever since. Now, in that case, I truly felt called. I felt guided to a practice I hadn't even known existed, and one, as I said, that continues to enrich my life in immeasurable ways. So ask yourself the question, what in my life has happened like that? What experiences have you had with following the breadcrumbs, the little breadcrumbs of life, something that you've been curious about and you followed it to something that you never knew about but found it that you loved? All it takes is openness, a willingness to not know all the answers and allow God, the universe, the divine intelligence to guide you. The R stands for resourceful and creative, or resourcefulness and creativity. Because here's a thing that, again, you may have found true for you in the past. If we wait until we think we're ready, many opportunities will probably pass us by. And part of living our new story is trusting that we have all the resources we need and that we will be able to handle whatever comes up, that the timing of everything is always perfect for our soul's growth, even when it doesn't seem that way. And we can trust that while we may never be perfect, the timing of events in our lives is. We can trust ourselves enough to know that we do have the resources to deal with whatever comes up in our life, and that any mistakes we make along the way can serve our ultimate growth and learning. There's an author named Kent Nerburn who wrote a wonderful book, I think called Small Graces. And he said, life is an endless creative experience, and we are making ourselves every moment by every decision we make. Every moment by every decision we make. So trust that you have the resources, the resourcefulness, and the creativity to create that new story. And finally, the Y in new story stands for yielding. Yielding. Sometimes our new stories don't happen at exactly the time, with exactly the people, in exactly the place, in exactly the way we think they will. Sometimes the divine has something even better for us, something bigger than we've even imagined, but we may have to wait for it. Remember the Tom Petty song with the wonderful chorus, "The waiting is the hardest part"? Remember that? Anybody who's ever had to wait for something they really wanted knows how true that statement can be. And in the process of creating our new stories, we will find ourselves waiting often, waiting for guidance, waiting for fruition, waiting for the next step. We are waiting right now, aren't we? We're collectively in a time of waiting. So what to do when we find ourselves waiting and feel restless at our unanswered questions? One thing that I've found helpful is just to attend to whatever makes its way before me. There can be clues in what arises in our lives for attention. And just to pay attention to the signs and the symbols in our lives, to take action when we're asked to, and to allow ourselves to surrender into the not knowing as much as possible are good first steps to, as the German poet Rilke once put it, live along some distant day into the answer. And many times, perhaps even most times, the answer we receive from God is even better than the one we first imagined. Can I just see with some head nods? I'm going to scroll down. Have you found that to be true for you? Yeah. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, isn't it? And I hadn't planned to tell this story, but I'll go ahead since I just started to. I'm completely surprised to have found myself a congregational minister for 10 years, no less. There was a time in my life when I was working at the church, but did not have the position I have now, where I thought, no, I don't think that's what I want to do. And I lived my way into the answer of a role, a position that I not only love, but feel honored and blessed by. So, you know, God has a sense of humor sometimes. And God also has a new story for each of our lives. So as you use this time of slower living to create your new story, you too can use that acronym as a touchstone. Again, a new story is born out of self-actualizing, trusting in God, openness, resourcefulness, and creativity, and yielding. Allow those concepts to shape your life, and imagine this time next year. This time next year, if you use this time to revision a new story, you will know from your lived experience, like never before, how to write your own story, how to be your own hero, how to speak your own truth, how to live your own dream. You will be a walking embodiment of the power of stories. And so it is. Thank you, God. So I'm going to allow you just a little bit of time to begin to ponder more deeply what this concept of story and of a new story can mean for your life. So in the privacy of your home, I invite you just to lean back and let whatever it is that you're sitting in hold you. Again, whether it's a chair, a couch, a bed, just let yourself lean against it and feel held by it. And know that you are always held. You are always held by the divine. So let yourself get comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a few slow, deep breaths and begin to relax. And let the music draw your awareness inward. And as you breathe, feel your attention moving deeper and deeper within. Deeper and deeper within yourself. I invite you to consider the answers to a series of questions that I'm going to pose. And the first one is, what has my life been about up to this time? If I were to title the story of my life as it has been so far, what would that title be? What would the title be of my life up to this time? And just think through all the choices that you've made, all the ways in which you've created your story up to this point in time. And if you could encapsulate it into a title, what would that be? And now I invite you to think about this particular time, this time of sheltering in place. Been in this time for about 5 weeks now. So ask yourself now, what is my life about at this point in time? If I were to title the story of my life as it is right now, during this time of sheltering in place, what would that title be? How would I title the life I have been living since I've been sheltering in place? Just pay attention to any images you might get to. I was on a call yesterday and I had the image of little green leaves, little green shoots sprouting up. Those images can also give you a lot of information. And now I invite you to begin the process of revisioning, of imagining your life in the future, your life after this challenge has been met. So if you were to title the story of the life you want to live after these days of sheltering in place are over, what would that title be? I'm going to phrase that in the first person. What do I want my life to be about in the future? If I were to title the story of the life I want to live after these days are over, these days of sheltering in place, what would that title be? Know that wherever you are in this process, whatever has come to you during this time of meditation or whatever has not come to you, know that you are in the perfect place for right now. Know that perfect divine timing will unfold in your life. And know that you do have the power at any time to make the change that you might wish to. And knowing that at any time you can return to your beautiful inner sanctuary for guidance, comfort, and for peace. Begin now to come back to waking consciousness, beginning by moving your fingers or your feet. When you're ready, opening your eyes and joining us again. Again, I just want to take a quick scroll down to see, did you all get some information about a new story? I see some heads nodding. Yes, good. Thumbs up. Excellent. Yeah, wonderful. I think it's going to be so exciting to see what we all individually come up with and what we come up with collectively. I think we have some real opportunities during this time. So let us join together in taking a look at our vision, mission, and values. But first, let us affirm that here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And feeling inspired by our vision, mission, and values, feeling enriched by what we've experienced here today, and will continue to experience during our live Zoom fellowship meeting. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Michael shares his beautiful music with you, please take that time to write out a check to USC or to log on to our website, unitysf.org, to make a donation online. Please remember that our expenses do continue throughout this time as we look for new ways to stay connected to you. And I want to thank everybody who has remembered that and has sent in their contributions or donated online. They are so appreciated. So let's take a moment now to bless our tithes and love offerings, placing them in our hands or next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Thank you, Michael. So beautiful. We can all or rub our hands together, the pearl of great price. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
So please join with me in blessing our offering. Spirit of the living God, Bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to patiently listen for the stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do. And so it is. Amen. And since I mentioned Mercy Center in Burlingame in my talk, I'll tell you that I got that prayer from something I found out in Mercy Center, a beautiful prayer, and I'm so glad that we've adapted it for our use at Unity. So a few quick announcements before we move to our hospitality Zoom. One is that, as I said, we will offer the opportunity for you to tell the story. If you came prepared to tell the story, you'll have 5 minutes or less to do that during our live Zoom meeting. I am doing a daily word guided meditation every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. To access that, just use the same Zoom link that you used to get here today. And we'd love to see you Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. We also are doing a wonderful book study on the second mountain. And I want to correct this, Mercy, it's Wednesdays, it's not Tuesdays. We're meeting on Wednesdays from 2 to 3:30, and we'll be doing that through May 20th. So join us for that, again, at the same link. We have a Facebook and Instagram daily prayer by me. So on my personal Facebook account and Instagram account, I am recording a daily prayer from Prayers for Healing, my first book, or Prayers for Hope and Comfort. And I'd love to have you join me for that. I also put it in our Ocean of Love community group page on Facebook. So if you're not a member of that, please do become one, where we're offering inspiration to each other, articles, photographs, that kind of thing. Finally, in terms of an announcement, I want to let you know that Cheryl Hodgins, and I know I saw her here, is opening up the invitation for you to experience distant Reiki on April 30th. So Cheryl, I'm going to unmute you if you want to tell people about that. You're unmuted.
Oh, thank you. Yes, a group of us are, like everybody else, at home. And distance Reiki is as powerful as hands-on Reiki. I've been using it for years now. And that would be anybody that's interested in doing Reiki with us on Thursday night. It's going to be from 7 to 9 o'clock would be the last session. There'll be 20-minute sessions. You just contact me. The telephone number's on the website. And we'll schedule you in for a distance Reiki treatment. Now, we are doing it from different places too. So we're doing it from our own homes because of the need to stay at home. And what we'll do is pick a time, have you sit quietly or lay down quietly and send distance Reiki to you. If there's some specific request that you have, that would be fine. The biggest one I'm finding right now that's happening is anxiety. And it's for body, mind, or spirit. So emotions are included in all of that. So the telephone number that's listed is a landline, where you can also leave a message. The telephone number, I'll give it to you right now, is 415-648-3288. So that does not take a text, by the way, but a phone message, and I would call you back to schedule the appointment.
Great.
But there will be Kathy, who read the Daily Word today, Mary Ellen Jarrett, myself, And we have some other people that would be doing it too. I'm just having to check with them right now to see if they still want to.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for offering that to our community. And I just want to mention two other things that happened this week, which I'm happy about. Cheryl, let's see. Cheryl, can you answer that chat? Can you put the phone number in the chat so people can get it there?
It disappeared.
Okay.
Oh, in the chat?
Yeah, in the chat. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Annette did it. Thank you, Annette. Appreciate that. Yeah, two fun things happened. Members of our community started or are a part of two new organizations. One, Michael Hatfield co-founded musicandplace.org. Yay! And he made it onto the news, the Channel 2 KTVU news. That was so exciting. And this is an organization. Michael, you want to quickly tell folks what Music and Place is about?
Sure. There's a ton of musicians obviously in this town because this is the town that supports live arts in the normal workings of this town, and they're all completely out of a job, and they are gig workers. That's one of the things they do. So we wanted to help put some groceries on the table for these guys and help everybody and create at the same time, because not only did we want to give them a fish, we wanted to teach them how to fish in these new waters, and that's what we've been doing. And it's been working. So we have a website, musicandplace.org. We're also on YouTube under the same name, Music and Place, and you'll hear some of the new music that we're creating, and these people are getting paid to do this.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I made a donation. I hope other people will follow my lead there. And I also wanted to tell you about an organization that my daughter is involved in. Chloe Shannon, who is our teens church leader, was very quiet about going into her room and sewing. We would hear her sew all hours of the day and night, and she wouldn't answer questions about what she was doing. And my husband and I thought, well, I think it's creative at least, or constructive, so we didn't push her too much. I finally found out that she's been making masks for people who need them. And this is a teen-led organization that's called Masks for All CA. So Annette, you are so great at giving us the URLs. If you don't mind typing in masks for allca.org. It's a teen organization that my daughter's a part of, and they are also taking donations, both monetary, but also materials. And if you know of a place that needs masks, please contact them. And it's masks with an S. Masks for all CA. Thank you, Annette. .org. So proud of both Michael and Chloe for putting these organizations in place or being a part of them to do good in our world.
Hi, Mom.
And, did somebody say something?
Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi, Chloe. Hey, Chloe, you want to say anything?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Good. All right, I'm doing my bit to help spread the word. So with that, let us bless our children and our teens. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. And let us go into this day. Well, actually, let us sing the peace song first.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So let us go into this day and into the coming week, knowing that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. And we'll see you in about 3 minutes for our hospitality Zoom meeting. Don't change the link. We're going to meet right here. Just grab a cup of coffee and join us in a couple minutes. And I'm going to see if I can end our Facebook live stream. Should have recorded the whole thing. So I will see you soon.